today we're going to be studying equations of lines. And there's several different forms for the equation of a line. You have your standard form, which we won't talk about too much today, but it is important. And your standard form is your ax plus your by equals your c. And when you have an equation of a line, most of the time you have an x plus a y equal to a constant. The x and the y are never multiplied together. There's never any division with the, where x or y is in the denominator. But anyway, that's the standard form for the equation of a line. Now, you can manipulate that equation and put it in what's called slope-intercept form. And when it's in slope-intercept form, you can easily identify the slope and the y-intercept, which makes it easy to graph. So your slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. What is a y-intercept? Where it intercepts the y-axis, okay? So, like, if I looked at this equation, y equals 3x plus 8, my slope is 3, and my y-intercept is 8. So if you were to graph that, you could go to 8 on the y-axis, and then from there, rise 3 and run 1, okay? So it makes it easy to graph. This first problem is very simple. It says write the equation in slope-intercept form for a line with a slope of -4 and a y-intercept of 1. So that's super easy. You just have to plug it into this formula. And so we're going to replace the m with the -4 and the b with a +1. That's super easy. Okay? Another form that we're going to talk about is the point slope form. Now, I believe that those of you that are freshmen, they used a little bit different variation of this formula. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and show it to you this way because I went to a class 2 summers ago, and I've talked with the upper teachers over there. They really want you to understand this form. I'll talk about how you did it as well, but like I said, it's just a variation of this one. But this is called the point slope form, where x1 and y1 is a point that lies on the line, and m is the slope again. Okay? And so if I gave you a problem and I said write the equation in point slope form for a line whose slope is -1/2 that contains the point 3, -7. So this right here is your m, and then this is your x1, and this is your y1. So I plug it into this formula, and so I'm going to replace the y1 with -7, so that becomes y minus a -7, which is y plus 7, equals -1/2 x minus 3. Okay, that is point slope form. And some of your problems on your homework will just ask for the point slope form, and then it'll ask you to put it in slope intercept form. And so when you put it in slope intercept form, basically what you do is you solve it for y. So I distribute the -1/2, and that gives me -1/2 x plus 3/2. And then I subtract 7 from both sides. -1/2 x. Now if I subtract 7, I need to rewrite this fraction, so I need to rewrite it with the same denominator. This is 3/2, so I can rewrite this as -14/2. That's the same thing as -7. And then I subtract, and I get -11/2. And so I took that information, and I first wrote it in point slope form. This is point slope. And then I rewrote it in slope intercept. Now, my understanding from my other students was that what you guys did when you were given a point and the slope, that what you did is similar. You did y minus y1 over x minus x1 equals m. Okay, and so then you did y minus a -7 over x minus 3 equals a -1/2, and you cross multiply. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I'm going to do it like this because I want you to understand the point slope form. Really, this is a variation. All they did was take this equation and divide both sides by x1 minus x1. Okay, so it's really the same thing, but like I told you, It really, for some reason in calculus or something, it's important to understand point slope. I don't know. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and show it to you that way. And I'll check with them and see what they think. And I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind later. But I don't care if you do it that other way, but I just want you to recognize how to set it up like this as well. Okay? All right. On this next one, it says write an equation in slope-intercept form for line L. Well, sometimes you can have the graph of the line, and you can get all the information that you need, okay? Like, this is a nice neat graph. My points are distinguished. I can even see where it crosses the y-axis, okay? And so I can get my slope. And so I could go from here, I'd rise 1, 2, 3, 4, and I run back 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So my slope would be positive 4, rise 4, run back. Rise 4, and then run back 4, which gives me a slope of -1. And then I can see that it crosses the y-axis there at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, at 5, right? So that means that my B is 5. And so then I can just go and plug it into this equation, and I get y equals -1x plus 5, or you don't even have to put that -1, that 1 in there. You can just do y equals -x plus 5. I caution you, however, of trying to do all the problems like that, because unless it's graphed nice and neat for you, we tend to make errors. Every year I get kids that don't want to do the formula, and they try to graph it, and then they don't even graph it on graph paper, and it's not neat whatsoever, and then they try to figure out all this information, and they get it wrong, okay? So I recommend that being able to do it this way, given this information, but if you're given like points and whatnot, I recommend you trying to learn how to use the formula as well, okay? All right, let's go on. Okay, we want to write an equation of the line through each pair of points in slope-intercept form. Okay, now on your homework, it might ask for point slope and then slope-intercept. Okay, and you'll have to be able to do both. So write an equation of the line through each pair of points in slope-intercept form. So the first thing, what do I have to find? The slope. Okay, and so to find the slope, I'm going to do 3 minus a -1 over 0 minus a -2. And I end up with 4 over 2, which is 2, right? Okay, and so my slope is 2, and then I want to pick one of these 2 points. It doesn't matter which one you pick. I'm going to pick this one, and then I'm going to talk about this other one here in just a second, okay? I'm going to use the point -2, -1. All right, so I'm going to plug it into my y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'm going to do y plus 1 equals 2 times x plus 2. And I'm going to distribute y plus 1 equals 2x plus 4. And so y ends up being 2x plus 3. And so that's my answer in slope-intercept form. What is my y-intercept? My y-intercept is 3, right? What does this point right here represent? It represents the y-intercept, y. It's where it crosses the y-axis, and the point is 0, 3, right? That means that lies on the y-axis. That's where it crosses it. So really, if I was given this point and I found the slope, I could go straight to the answer. Okay, I could have gone straight to y equals 2x plus 3 because I know the y-intercept, but I can only do that when it's 0 and the number, okay? The x has to be 0, and then you have the number. I couldn't have used this y, could I? Because that's not 3. And everybody tries to do that all the time, okay? You can only go straight to there when it's 0 comma the number, okay? It's the only time you can do that. All right, let's try this next one. Again, I want to find my slope. Okay, and I'm going to do 4 minus a -4 over -7 minus 9. And that gives me 8 over a -16, which is a -1/2. So there's my slope, -1/2. Now, which point do we want to use? 9, -4? Okay, it doesn't matter. Either one will work. So I'm going to use the point 9, Okay, so I'm going to plug it in. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I've got y minus a negative 4 equals negative 1/2 x minus 9. And I'm going to distribute. And I get negative 1/2 x plus 9/2. And again, I have to subtract 4 from both sides. And I got to get a common denominator, which needs to be 2, so I'm going to change this to 8/2, which gives me a positive 1/2 right there. Do what? Do you have a question? All right. So there's my equation. So you notice this y-intercept is not the y coordinate of either one of those, right? Okay, so don't do that. Okay, horizontal and vertical lines. What was the slope of a horizontal line? 0, okay? Anytime you have a horizontal line, the equation of the line is always going to be y equals whatever the y coordinate is, okay? And you can see, like this right here is the equation of y equals 3. And see how this y is going through 3 on the y-axis? Whatever it goes through on the y-axis is going to be y equals whatever that is. I always know this is horizontal. One of my students says that they took the y and turned it upside down and made an h, so I knew it was horizontal, right? So, and the slope of this is always 0. Now, what's the slope of a vertical line? Okay, the slope of a vertical line is undefined, okay? And it goes through the x-axis. So it is always x equals whatever the x coordinate is, okay? So this one's going through negative 2, so it's going to be x is negative 2. If you cut the x in half, it makes a v, so that tells you it's a vertical line, okay, which is an undefined slope. So if I gave you, let's say, y equals 2, how would you graph that? Okay, we would take a 2, right? We would draw a line through, right? So that is y equals 2. What if I had x equals 6? What would I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And then I would draw a line through. That is x. Good. Okay. Write an equation of a line that goes through the following points. Okay, write an equation of a line that goes through the following points. So I need to, like I did in the previous ones, I need to find my slope. So if I find my slope, I'm going to do 6 minus 6 over negative 2 minus 3. And so I end up with 0 over negative 5. What does that equal to? Huh? 0. And 0 divided by a number is 0. So what kind of line is this? It's a horizontal line, right? And what's it going to go through? 6. Anytime you have 2 points and both the y coordinates are the same, it's going to be y equals whatever that number is. Okay? What do you think this one's going to be? X equals negative 4, right? Because if I found the slope of this one, I would do 3 minus a negative 1 over negative 4 minus a negative 4. That is 4 over 0. That's an undefined slope, which means it's a vertical line and it goes through the x-axis at negative 4. Okay? All right. Now, this problem right here, you will see one like this on your test. Okay? So you got to make sure you understand how to do this. This is write the equation in slope-intercept form for a line containing the point 2,8 that is perpendicular to y equals negative 2x plus 5. What do I need to get from this? I need the slope, right? What's my slope going to be for this line here? 2 over 1. Okay, negative 2 over 1, right? So the slope of my line that's perpendicular to it's going to be what? It's going to be a positive 1/2. And so now I can take this information and I can plug it into my point slope form and I can come up with the equation of my line. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I've got y minus 8 equals 1/2 x minus 2. Distribute the 1/2. And what's 1/2 times 2? 1. So it's negative 1 because one's positive, one's negative. Add 8 to both sides. And I get y equals 1/2 x plus 7. What if this word had been parallel? It would be the same slope, right? It would be in the same slope, so I would use the slope of -2. Okay? If it's perpendicular, I have to use the opposite reciprocal. All right, I got to show you this last one, and then I got one more thing I need to point out, and then we'll be done. Benito's current wireless phone plan X costs $39.95 per month for unlimited calls and 5 cents per text message. He is considering switching to plan Y that costs $35 per month for unlimited calls plus 10 cents a minute for each text message. Which plan offers him the better rate? So we've got plan X and we have plan Y. Okay, I want to graph both of these and I want to look at the equation of the line to determine which is the better plan. What would my equation for plan X be? Y equals 39.9. Okay. That's my base rate, right? Plus 0.5x, right? Okay. So this is my cost. My y is my cost, and my x is the number of texts, right? So y equals 0.05x plus 39.95, right? Now I want to graph this, but I got troubles with my little slope right here. What is 0.05 as a fraction? What? 1/20th. It's 5 over 100, which is 1/20th, right? So to graph it, it might be easier if it's like that. 1/20th x plus 39.95. So I'm going to graph that. I'm going to go here to almost 40. And I rise 1 and I run 20. Rise 1, run 20. Okay, so my equation of my line looks something like that. That's pretty good. It's a little curvy. Okay. Now I want to look at plan Y. What would be my equation for that one? It is $35 a month for unlimited calls plus 10 cents a text message. 0.10x plus 35, right? Okay, now I need to change this to a fraction. What's 10 cents as a fraction? 1/10. So it's y equals 1/10x plus 35. Okay, so I come down here to 35. This time I rise 1 and run 10. So rise 1, run 10. I'm going to do that a whole bunch of times just so I can get it good because I'm not very good at drawing. Okay, so not very good at dots either. Okay, so it looks about like that, right? Now the question is, which is the better plan? What do you think? X? Is it dependent upon anything? Well, yeah. Okay, but what will that depend on? How much you text, right? So if it was you guys, definitely plan X, right? But what if it was my grandma who barely knows how to text? She probably doesn't know how to text. No, probably wouldn't be the best plan for her. She just uses it to call. And maybe your parents sometimes use it just to call. Okay? So, the cost, the costs are the same at what point? At what point are the costs the same? At 45 days or 100 texts, right? Okay. So that's $45, not days. $45, they're the same. So at $45 at 100 texts, the costs are the same at 100 texts. So if Benito texts more than that, plan X is better. If he doesn't, then Y is better. Okay, I got to show you one more thing real quick. This is on your worksheet, and I didn't do one like this. Let's say that I told you that your x-intercept was 2 and your y-intercept was -3. And I want the equation of the line. Well, I have my y-intercept, right? But what do I need? I need my slope, don't I? Okay. So to find my slope, they're really a location, right? The x-intercept and the y-intercept is a location on your graph. Where is this location? Okay, so what's the ordered pair for that? 2, 0, right? And what's the ordered pair for the y-intercept? 0, -3. So knowing that, can I find the slope? Yes, I can find the slope, -3 minus 0 over negative -3 minus 0 and 0 minus 2. So I end up with -3 over -2. So my slope is what? 3 over 2, right? Yeah, 3 over 2. So that's my slope. So that my equation would be y equals 3 over 2 x, and then what would I put after that? Minus -3 minus 0, 0 minus, yeah, I did that right. Okay? All right, any questions? Okay, your assignment is a worksheet that I will pass out.